Hello and welcome to the Rundown. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. But as we all know, I do not do this program by myself.
No, you don't. My name is Mike Piwowarski. I will be your co-host for today. I come to you from the East Coast. That's the coast with the most. From the co-host with the most here on the Rundown, where we bring you 2A views and conservative news. Welcome to Thirsty Thursday.
Oh yeah, it's not only is it Thirsty Thursday, but it's Thirsty Thursday on a St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, it is St. Patrick's Day, laddie. Yes, it is.
It is St. Patrick's Day. Now, I do see that you seem to be missing a bit of the green. Am I going to have to pinch you?
Oh, listen, if you're calling what you're wearing green, then we got an issue also. But no, I am wearing my green St. Patrick's Day pants. I save them for one day a year, and if you want me to show them to you, I will.
Oh no, please. We do not.
Okay.
We do not want to see your
I
green
will
underpants.
stand up and show you my pants right about here. You know?
So
Right in
wait,
front
so
of the
olive
microphone.
green does not, or khaki green does not constitute green?
Nay, Tasha Core, nay.
Well, I'm sorry. Maybe it's just maybe it's the West Coast green, but I consider it green, so that's the green I'm wearing today.
I mean, it would count for like, I guess if you were going to be a tactical little green guy, you could
Yeah. Other than that, I don't have a lot of green in my wardrobe.
a tactical leprechaun, like a combat leprechaun. He's
Combat
got his
leprechaun.
OD green on, you know. He's on the way to the Ukraine to kill commies. He's got his
Exactly.
tactical green on.
He's wiry.
He's wiry.
He's wiry.
Let's see.
Oh my! So any special plans for St. Patrick's Day?
It's one of those days where I don't go out and do a lot because of the other idiots around. So it's like a New Year's Day. I guess that's a sign we're getting older, right? That we don't go out and drink until we have green vomit. You know, because there's too many other idiots around. So
I remember
I'll
back
save it
in
for the weekend.
college. Back in college at St. Patrick's Day, there would literally be people lined up at the bar at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
ready to go drinking because they were planning on drinking all day, and they were going
Yeah.
to be consuming green drinks, whatever it was. I was
Yeah.
never one of those because once again, if it happened during the week, I had class, so I was never one of those guys. But I generally enjoyed it. There will definitely be a good day for some corned beef and cabbage. Definitely maybe a little shepherd's pie, and some Guinness.
Yeah, all things that I'll probably have some part of today. It's just
Yeah.
although having gone at 6 in the morning this morning and waiting in line actually sounds like a better option now. But it's just a good day. Everybody be safe, drive responsibly, do all of that, and just for me, it's just really, Craig. It's I know I drive responsibly, even if I'm not drinking, or if I'm not drinking. But it's the other idiots you got to watch out for. And
Yeah.
it's one less night I got to play dodge the idiot.
There you go. There you go. Well, like I said, it's the one day where all of us are Irish.
That's right. That's right. And what is it? I'm not Irish, but I've had a fifth of scotch in me. So.
There you go. I got to put some scotch in you. Well, it's funny though, and I always say this, and you look at a lot of the whole point about the melting pot, and I look at various different holidays that we celebrate, whether it's Cinco de Mayo, whether it's Juneteenth, or it's St. Patrick's Day. I always say that there's a little bit of, that's what makes America great, is that there's a little bit of a bunch of different cultures in the United States that we celebrate. And that's why I'm like that. I mean, that's really about what the melting pot is all about. It's not about necessarily celebrating Ireland, but celebrating who we are here in the United States and different parts of our culture.
It's funny because we've got Cinco de Mayo coming up, and people always get that wrong, what they think it is.
Right.
Unlike with St. Patrick's Day, which is actually the celebration of Mexican independence. It's little known fact.
Yeah. wait. You said St. Patrick's Day is the celebration of Mexican independence.
It is. Now because the Cinco de Mayo was their victory at the Battle of Puebla. Remember?
Right.
But,
I do know that.
Right, but St. Patrick's Day is actually Mexican Independence Day. So yeah.
Okay. You mean St. Patrick's Day or the 17th
No, I mean St.
of
Patrick's
March?
Day. I mean St. Patrick's Day. St. Patrick's Day is the celebration of Mexican independence, and anything else you want it to be while you're drinking green beer.
Oh, there you go. Okay, okay, okay. I appreciate the clarification. And anything else you want it to be. There we go.
Anything else you
I'm
want it
down.
to be. Yep, yep,
I am down for that, Mikey. I'm down for that.
yep.
All right, so let's go ahead and get into today's story. You know, we just got through talking. I mean, we literally just got through talking about Jussie Smollett or Jussie Smollett, however you decide to pronounce his name.
Justice for Jussie.
Justice for Jussie would apparently there are some people who are pushing for justice for Jussie who may have gotten their way as Jussie has been set free. That's right. He has walked out of jail a couple of days after being convicted. I think he's been spent less than a week in jail. Now they're saying that basically what they did was they appealed his case. And what they're saying is that there's a double jeopardy issue. They're saying that he already had charges dropped. He had already paid a fine. And now basically what they're saying is he was put on trial for basically twice for the same exact crime for which he paid a $10,000 fine and did 10 days and did some community service. I haven't looked at the legal briefing or anything like that related to this case, but I gotta believe that I got to believe that there's got to be an issue here. This just sounds too off to me.
Well, first off, now Jussie thinks he's been vindicated, and he's going to be even a louder, annoying voice that we're going to have to deal with for a little while. Both of the headlines we took a look at, Craig, are misleading that we saw this. And when you finally go through and take a look at this, you realize that the appeal came about prior to his sentencing. Okay. So it was prior to his day of entering, jail. So this is simply we're not requiring him to be incarcerated while we're considering the appeal. Nothing's been set aside. There's been no new order for retrial. It is simply while the appeal is in process, he's going to be let free. And that happens quite frequently with nonviolent offenders. Nothing unusual about that. What is a little bit more unusual is, again, I think the headlines are saying things like he's been set free or it's a double jeopardy. Greg, it's not double jeopardy. It's not double jeopardy at all. Double jeopardy is when you are tried for the same offense by the same level of court, not charged with the same offense. We also know that, and I say tried by the same level of court because we've seen over and over again where you could be tried by one and found not guilty, and then the feds could come along and call a civil rights violation and try you again.
Right.
So you may be tried for murder in a state court, be found not guilty, and then the feds say, well, it's a violation of civil rights because the pursuit of life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. Well, guess what? If you're dead, you can't pursue any of that.
Well, that's exactly what happened, for example, in Ahmaud Arbery, in the Ahmaud Arbery case, where they actually got tried and convicted in both.
Yes, they did, and I was thinking more along the lines, but that's a good example. The LA the riots from the Rodney King cops. Rodney King cops got found guilty in state court and found guilty in federal court.
You mean innocent in state court and guilty in federal court?
I said not guilty, I think.
Oh, you said not guilty. Okay.
Yeah, not guilty.
I thought you said innocent.
Oh, I'm sorry. If I did, I apologize. And please forgive.
Or guilty. Anyway, you're right. No, you're right. Never mind. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. Whatever you're doing. All right. You got your own segments. You do those. I'll do mine. Whatever I said. You know what? Because half the times I say something and it's not what I really said. So it doesn't matter. I appreciate the assistance. Because otherwise I'll be watching.
Half the time I said something, it's not something I really said.
No, I do it all the time. Listen, that's why I don't do programs by myself. Because I don't want to see a quote of me saying something going, what did I say?
Well, there's nothing worse than saying something that you say. There's what you meant to say and what you actually said. I do that all the time.
Correct. Yeah. So that's why we're here for each other. But yeah, so this is it's not a case of double jeopardy. That's just what they were arguing. I don't know why this, and I hope this comes up when they get to the higher level court. You were convicted of 5 felonies, and all you got is 150 days. I don't know how that works. So he should be looking at 25 years, not 150 days. So I'm hoping the appeals court turns on him. Go, well, sir, we took a look at your appeal, and you're going back for big time.
Yeah, no, this guy, it is so clear and obvious that the guy lied. First of all, whatever happens, I think that the former district attorney, the one who prosecuted him, the one who
Yes,
failed to prosecute him, needs to be brought up on charges. Period. There's not a
exactly right.
doubt in my mind that she needs to be brought up on charges because this was a complete and utter miscarriage of justice. I mean,
Yes,
there's no way you can allow people to basically create a national uproar by basically lying. And
yes,
it was so clear and obviously a lie that
yes,
if you're not going to hold someone accountable when they misuse police resources, and quite frankly, take something that is a very serious thing. I mean, violence, race-based violence, or violence, period, but violence based on someone's race or gender. I mean, that's a hot topic issue. And when you manipulate that in order to try and get your name in the headlines
yep,
and misuse police resources, you need to be held accountable.
yep. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Listen, on the double jeopardy thing, let me give you another little example for those that are still confused. The George Zimmerman case, which has so many legal aspects to it, it's amazing. The local by county state attorney's office looked at it and said they declined to press charges. There were no charges there. A special statewide prosecutor was brought in, and she filed the charges against him, and then we went to court. So just because two prosecutors' offices look at it and make different decisions does not make it double jeopardy.
Exactly. Nope. Nope. Agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Support that perspective. All right, moving right along. Now, we've seen this happen multiple times whenever there are legal decisions that protect an individual's right to keep and bear arms, in particular when it comes to either it's the ability to own a firearm or the ability to, or permits relating to the ability to own a firearm or the ability to be able to conceal carry. Whenever people's rights are protected by a legal decision or by a change in policy, we then turn around and we see that, well, people seek to then start to take advantage of that right. That's exactly, folks, what's happening there in Philadelphia, as they have seen the numbers of individuals applying for concealed carry permits go through the roof. And you have to know that the left wing liberals, the anti gun folks there in Philadelphia, have got to be losing their minds as people are seeking to actually be able to express their constitutional right to be able to keep and bear arms.
Yeah, absolutely, Craig. Now the story talks about the number of applications. Does it give us the number of approvals versus applications?
It does not. It does. It. I did not see in there where it's talking about the number of approvals. At least I don't know that they have enough long term to be able to verify that. In
Yeah, I
fact,
believe. You know what? I have to check why right now. I believe that Pennsylvania is a shall issue state. So let me take a look here while we're doing this. And if that's so, that just means that's the that's the crux of the story right there. Is that that not only do they have that number, that's why that number is so panicking to them, because it's they have to issue. Uh,
so I did a little bit of a search just in the article, and the only place it talks about approval is it says when applying, applicants answer a bunch of questions, provide references, and submit to a background check, and you are either approved, in which case you get a gun permit unit and pick up your license, or you are denied. The number of applications denied in Philadelphia from 2017 through 2020 averaged 17.5%. In 2021, just under 10% of license to carry applicants were denied.
well, there you go. There's your
So
answer
about
for you, right?
90% of those are approved.
So it's probably a shall issue state. There we go.
Yeah.
They probably have some weird, guidelines why it's a little bit higher than most, because normally your approvals are even higher than that. So
I think in that particular case, then what it comes down to is the background check. So in other words, if that many are being approved, then background check is in some places the background check is simply, okay, are you allowed to own or possess a firearm? In some cases, the background check is a little bit more lengthy. They're gonna try and find out, do you have any racist or hateful rhetoric or violent rhetoric in your social media and stuff like that? Do you have any arrests that haven't been answered for or anything like? So sometimes they become a little bit more extensive in those background checks, and there
Yeah,
may be
that's
a
what I'm saying. There
reason.
might be some local or other provisions. Again, like
Right.
where I have to submit paperwork that says I have a training class and I have to be not a felon or a domestic violence offender. Theirs might be more stringent. It does not say anywhere in their law that they can't have more stringent. They may require more paperwork. They may require more timely things. Who knows what it happens to be? I'd have to get a Pennsylvania representative on here, but I can tell you Pennsylvania is a shall issue state. So they
Right.
are a shall issue state. Yeah.
Well, and that once again, this goes to a lot of the shall issue versus may issue. A lot of the discrepancy has been over the good cause, right? That's where you have to show a
Correct.
reason why you should be able to own or possess. You should be able to conceal carry.
Correct.
But good character is generally, I mean, that right now is still kind of left out there. And for the most part, most of the pro Second Amendment jurisdictions are, look, if you pass a background check to be able to own or possess a firearm, then you're considered good character. Some take that a little bit further. Very few go much further than, okay, much further than, okay, we got to just make sure you don't have any mean or hateful stuff. Or there's usually something a little bit more specific in their in the local requirements when it comes to good character.
I'm taking a look right now as we're speaking. Got the intern staff working on it.
So anyway, so it's once again, it's good to know that there are places, and once again, this is a place it's in a state that seems to be leaning more liberty minded. More and more, you're seeing whether it's from the statewide politicians. The courts definitely seem to be more liberty minded. Obviously, the city of Philadelphia is full of Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, a little bit different or significantly different because major urban inner cities tend to be run by anti-gun, anti-liberty tyrants. But at the very least, we're starting to see once again there in Philadelphia where that is a changing, or at least when it comes to the right to keep and bear arms. All right, so
Greg, here we go. Here's the quote for you. So,
okay.
in Pennsylvania, the sheriff or that police chief, if it's in one of the major cities, may deny a person the right to a license to carry firearms if there's reason to believe that the character and reputation of the person is such that they would act in a manner to endanger public safety. So again, that gives the ability for now they must issue. They have to have a shall issue. So they can't
Right.
just say no. They're going to have to provide a reason for that,
Right.
for a reason for denial. So that's why they have such a high rate, because when they were a may issue state, they were down in the 10 and 20% category.
Yeah.
Also.
Well, and most of that comes back to good cause, right?
Yeah, well, now we don't have to show good cause anymore. Now
Exactly.
it's just character. It's the character clause. So
Right. Whatever that means.
well, listen, and they'll do this. We see this happen in New Jersey, right? They'll contact the employer and go, "Has he ever had an argument at work?" And then they'll say, "Yes, he's had." And they go, "Well, there you go. That's good cause. I don't want him to have a firearm because he's had an argument at work." That's
Right.
how they get past that reputation item. It's not a
Mhm.
good cause is second. Here's good cause, Second Amendment.
Well,
That's
yeah,
my
but what
call.
they do is then they don't even tell you, because you regularly as an employer, and this is what's funny is if you have an employer who says, "Oh yeah, he's had a fight at work," well, keep in mind this is in an era where most employers, all they will verify when you call to verify employment is whether they
Yeah,
work there or not. They won't
yeah. Work
say anything else because they can be sued.
if they
So
work there in dates of employment. Yeah, yeah.
right. So I'm just kind of curious if that is in fact happening or has been happening or does happen. I'd be very interested in finding out if people are then turning around and suing their employer.
Yeah, very, very much so. Very much so.
All
I'd
right.
like to see that as well.
Anyway, interesting things. Anyway, that having been said, congratulations to all of y'all there in Philly. Get out there, get your concealed carry permit, exercise your rights responsibly.
Strap on the heater.
All right, here's another one. Now, we all know a great example of utilizing a state of emergency has been COVID-19. We have seen that left-leaning governments across the nation, local municipalities, state municipalities, even in some cases the White House, has declared an emergency and then utilized that to exercise powers that they otherwise would not have the ability to exercise, or to give themselves powers, executive authority that they otherwise would not have. Well, right now, there are many who are pushing the White House to actually institute a national state of emergency when it comes to climate change, or when it comes, they want to have them declare a climate emergency. Now, here's the reason, folks, why that is such a bad thing. Because when they turn around and they do that, the first thing that they're going to do is, one of the things that they want them to do is they want them to prohibit oil drilling or ban oil drilling from federal land. Now, you already heard that they've already basically taken 9,000, or not 9,000, they've already taken thousands of new leases. In other words, they said no new leases for oil drilling on federal land. They declared that there's 9,000 leases out there that are not being used. Now, many of those, there's no oil, or there's no oil there. Or it would be too costly, or the royalties or the fees that the government is going to charge are incredibly or way too high for it to be profitable for them to use those leases. Well, Mikey, what we have happening now is that we have people who are telling them, well, you know what you ought to do is declare a climate emergency, then just say, nope, we're not going to let you drill on any land. At a time when we're now talking about oil is already expensive. We're now talking about cutting off Russian oil, purchasing of Russian oil. And I gotta wonder, I'm like, I mean, how exactly do they expect to relieve the costs that are being burdened, and once again, some places $7 gas, on the average American citizen? I mean, I gotta wonder, what the heck are they thinking?
They're not thinking, right? It's like you said, it's about control, right? They got the votes they needed. Now they can do whatever they want. They can raise the prices, raise the taxes, do whatever they want. And that's all in the name of it's for the children, or for whatever other ridiculous reason they're trying to come up with this week. Craig, I think if they were to pass something like this, then you really would see Florida-style resistance throughout the rest of the country. People would just be like, "No, you know what? We're not doing that. We played your game when you promised us this would be for 2 weeks. It lasted over 2 years. We're not going back and doing any of this again. Release the hounds. That's what we're doing. We're releasing the hounds on you."
Right. Now, the thing we're quoting here is this article from...
I'm sorry. If you thought January 6th was an insurrection, just wait until you try something like this.
So the thing that we're quoting here is from Politico. It says here, Progressive Caucus member Jared Huffman, once again from California, told me calling on Biden to declare a climate emergency is one of the centerpiece actions to headline their EO plan. And that's from political reporter Joshua Siegel. Once again, I gotta believe that talk about reading the need to read the room. These are clearly people who don't pay for their own gas, because if they did pay for their own gas, they would realize, no, you don't want to do things that are going to continue to push up oil prices. Or maybe what they're doing is they believe that eventually gas prices will come back down as the war in Russia starts to subside, and then it will be okay because people will be used to paying high gas prices. And so now, by cutting off federal drilling on federal lands, that now would be acceptable because we're already used to paying those prices.
It's just like gun rights, right, Craig? We don't raise gas $4 at a time. We raise it 10 cents at a time. The same way we eat away and erode at gun laws. We take away a little bit at a time, one bite of the elephant at a time. That way, it doesn't feel so bad.
Exactly. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
One bite at a time.
Yep. That be how it be, sir.
Yep.
Okay. Now, this is one that was interesting. Now, this is a tactic that, quite frankly, is just straight out of the Communist Manifesto. We all know that gas prices were heading high well before the war in Ukraine started. We all knew that. We all saw that in many places. I give you an example. In California, we were already paying about $4.50 a gallon at the cheap places, and that's the cash price here in California. That was before Ukraine even started. Well, now gas prices are at least $1 to $1.50 higher here in the state of California. Well, now what they're trying to do is they're trying to blame all of that on what's occurring now in Ukraine. They're trying to say, oh yeah, gas prices are so high because of what's happening in Ukraine. And the average person, the average intelligent person, isn't buying it. Even many in the mainstream media are questioning that. But so now what they're trying to do is the White House is trying to go beyond the rest of us, beyond the mainstream media, beyond anybody, and they're trying to communicate directly with influencers. So they did a briefing with influencers on TikTok and Instagram and whatnot. They briefed these folks about basically telling them exactly what to say about gas prices. Here, check it out real quick.
History is repeating itself with a different rhythm, the algorithm, if you will. The White House hopped on a Zoom call with about 30 popular influencers who then quickly afterwards hopped on their social media accounts and began discussing what the White House had just briefed them on. Yes, the White House briefed a bunch of 18-year-olds with millions of followers on what to say about rising gas prices. Kids who have barely been driving for 2 years now are on TikTok explaining why gas is expensive. Ellie Zeller, an 18-year-old who has more than 10 million followers, posted a video on her profile titled "Why is gas so expensive?" And in the video she says, "Why is gas so expensive, and why is the United States inflation rate at a 4-time decade high? I had the opportunity to ask the White House why gas down the street is $7, and here's what they said. The first obvious reason is that we're getting out of a 2-year pandemic. When use goes up, the price goes up." But the call was predominantly about Ukraine and Russia, so how does that relate? Russia is one of the top 3 producers of oil, and it is actually their #1 revenue source. Now, with Putin starting this horrific fight between Ukraine and Russia, nobody wants to work with him and do international trade. And Ellie later told the Post that she was honored to take on the role of explaining these complex situations to young people, and that she considered herself to be a White House correspondent for Gen Z. Other content she enjoys sharing consists of dancing in her house, sharing makeup tips, being on vacation, and pulling pranks on her family.
Okay. Notice what is missing there was the whole, we actually shut down any new leases. We shut down the Keystone Pipeline. We started instituting additional fees and royalties for the government on any oil that was produced here in the United States, thus making it not really worth the time, energy, and effort, not worth the money that they were going to have to invest in order to be doing that drilling. Notice none of that was included in the briefing.
No, absolutely not, because you know what those are, Craig? Those are facts. You know, we could dispute facts rather than this the influence, this opinion that comes out of the White House. And it's like you said, it's not just Twitterville, it's everywhere else, and they're heading straight for that Gen Z people again, trying to influence that up and coming population. So when the vote comes around, they'll have them in their back pocket. The only problem is Gen Z usually don't vote. So
well, there you go. Well, you know, and here's the thing, folks. So for those of you who are just listening to the audio podcast, the correspondent that they were referring to, she was kind of a mix between, if you look at her makeup from the head up, from the neck up, she looked like a Barbie prince, like a Disney princess. Her makeup. She's 18. Her makeup had her looking like she was like she was in her 20s or 30s. I mean, anyway, with a swimsuit model figure from the neck down. So when you hear at the end, when it's talking about what she normally shares, that's pretty much what you would guess. But the other thing is this: a correspondent, right? A journalist actually gets all sides of the information, gets all sides of the story before they report on it. They don't just go and get the talking points from one side and then try to report that as the news. That's not being a correspondent.
Well, remember, Craig, I think that is being a correspondent. You're confusing correspondent with a journalist.
Well, okay, there you go. Well, she says she's a correspondent to Gen Z. So in other words, she's one of the ones responsible. She's basically a propagandist for the Biden White House to Gen Z.
remember, I mean, that's why we have White House correspondents, not White House journalists, because they're just there relaying the correspondence coming out of the White House.
Well, but a lot of them at least push back. I didn't see any pushback, or at least not a lot of them. Some of them do.
Correct. True. Yeah. It's don't get me wrong. Listen, if Biden or Kamala look like this, I'd pay $10 a gallon for gas.
Yes, I most definitely bet that you would. Speaking of Kamala Harris,
no, wait before we go there. Influencers. Well, I'll hand it back to you. Influencers. Do you watch the Law and Order shows? The new one, like Law and Order's back with Jack. Jack's back.
Yes,
Jack McCoy.
Yes, I've been watching the new Law and Orders.
Okay, so maybe you caught it this week while they were out. The two detectives were out on the scene looking for suspects. One of the people described the suspects as two white January 6th looking dudes.
Yes, exactly.
So yeah, a little bit of influence there coming from NBC as well, right?
Well, once again, you go back to Dick Wolf. I think while he writes pretty good shows, or at least he comes up with pretty good shows, I think he tends to hire writers that are more interested in propagandizing than they are in actually, entertaining.
Yep. So two white January 6th looking dudes.
It's one of the reasons why I stopped watching the other ones, and I may, if that's something that continues, it's something I'm basically going to stop watching the new Law and Order as well.
Oh, you can't listen. You can't watch SVU. SVU, the one with Mariska Hargitay.
Yeah.
That's that one is just absolutely full of politics. It's just everything about it is hating the white man.
It wasn't always like that. My point is that I'm concerned that the new one, now that they're bringing back the original Law and Order, that it's just going to be that in spades.
Yes. Yep.
All right.
Yep.
But we were talking about Kamala Harris, and I understand that she was recently asked about her opinion on no-fly zones.
She was.
What?
She was. Remember, she gave her opinion on Russia and the Ukraine about a week ago. So, she was just asked for an update there on
right.
On
well, she's kind of updated her thinking on no-fly zones, which I'm sorry, but this party shot pretty much demonstrates what we think of, or at least what we believe to be her capacity to understand some of these issues. I have no doubt that is exactly what she is thinking.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I have a little doubt, but it's not far from that.
She's doing her squinting intellect there too.
Oh yeah, that's her condescending. I am smarter than you. Condescending.
Yep, exactly right.
How dare you ask me that question?
Yeah.
All right, now this next one you brought to me. I had no idea that there was a Fox News report that a New York politician was putting together a gun drive in order to help the Ukrainian citizens against the Russians. Is this a true story? Seriously?
That is a true story. Remember, it was a congressman out of Brooklyn, or a state assemblyman out of Brooklyn, who was trying to get people to donate guns rather than have guns in New York. Let's donate our guns to the Ukraine. That was exactly what happened 2 weeks ago. Yes, sir.
Okay, so just so you know, so if someone has a New York compliant, because by the way, New York compliant ARs and California compliant ARs are relatively similar. But imagine that someone says, you know what, I am going to give my New York compliant AR-15 to help the citizens of Russia be able to defend themselves. This is an example of something that they would be getting. Now, to people who do not understand firearms, because not all of our audience are gun nuts, do me a quick favor and explain why this is such a joke, Mike.
Well, ballistically, it is no different than any other AR-15 modern sporting rifle. But I'll give you some of the differences. If you'll notice, there's no flash suppressor on there. By the way, all the flash suppressor does is keep the blast from burning off your eyebrows. It just kind of disperses it out in front of you.
In fact, there's no muzzle device at all on there.
No muzzle device at all on it. You can't have a pistol grip. So they've changed the pistol grip into a stock. So it's now a stock / pistol grip. That's why you have the tube sticking out the top back, because that's the buffer tube, which a stock would normally be covering. It has a a low capacity magazine that's either a 5 or 10 round mag, and it's probably permanently mounted inside that rifle. So if you wanted to reload it, you'd have to take the top off, or at least pivot the top up. If you notice, there's no bayonet lug, Craig, because of all the mass bayonettings we've had over the years. So we had to take the bayonet leg off. And this is part of New York law. There's no grenade launcher on it.
Right. Also note that there is not a collapsible stock. So it's a one size fits all. So if you happen to be, smaller of stature, there's no ability for you to be able to adjust the stock. So it's basically a one size fits all.
Correct.
Yeah. Sadly, man, that is very similar to California. Probably the only differences is I believe it's 5 to 7 rounds in New York and it's 10 rounds in California. Plus, you can have a muzzle device. It can be a muzzle brake, but not a flash suppressor in California. Which, by the way, if California DOJ looks at your muzzle device and decides out of nowhere that it is a flash suppressor, they can then come and inspect your firearm, and they can inspect it and seize it. And quote unquote, they're going to do tests on it and determine whether or not it is. Although they're not going to give you you're never going to get your firearm back while they do absolutely no tests. I say that because I know of at least one case where that actually happened.
Could you imagine being in the Ukraine and you got these shipments start coming in, and you'd be like, "Hey, Pavel, come help! We have ARs from America," and they open it up and it's this crap. They'd be like,
"What is this?
What is this crap? What is this crap?
I cannot shoot this. Here,
throw them
we
in
give
the
this
river.
to Russians."
Throw them in the river, just like Americans do.
Actually, what they'll do is they'll wind up flying them back to the United States, and they'll turn them in at a gun buyback so that they can get a gift card to go to Walmart and buy a real gun.
There you go. Well, you can't buy not buy it at Walmart anymore. Remember, not at Walmart, not at Dick's, because Walmart's also Dick's. Yeah.
Well, now, okay, I thought some Walmarts did still sell firearms. I don't know because they don't sell firearms in California. So
they sell shotguns and 12 gauge ammo. It's the only thing they sell anymore.
Okay,
shotguns and shotgun ammo. Walmart is only shotguns and shotgun ammo.
Well, there you
go. Same as Dick's. Only shotguns and shotgun ammo, and those are hunting shotguns. Nothing tactical and evil looking.
Nothing tactical.
Nothing tactical, baby. I credit that word, by the way, with our good friends at Gun Tech. They created the tactical.
Yes, the folks at Gun Tech did. We're the ones who kind of cornered the word or created the word tactical.
Tactical. Yep.
Speaking of Gun Tech, hey, how about a quick shout out to our sponsors, Mike?
Hey, say hello to our good friends at Guerrilla Machining, Grid Defense, and of course, the California Republican Assembly. And Craig, you got a little shindig going on this weekend.
Yes, sir. We got a phenomenal shindig that is going to be taking place. It's actually going to be kicking off tomorrow evening. We're going to have the associate producer for Sebastian Gorka is going to be speaking Friday night. Saturday, we're going to have statewide candidates. Conservatives from all over the state are going to be coming and talking. John Eastman, a senior fellow at the Claremont Institute, is going to be speaking Saturday night. Sunday morning, we're going to have Larry Elders. So, folks, you do not want to miss this event. If you are in California, in Southern California in particular, you want to make sure to show up for this event. It's going to be a hoot. By the way, I will be there as well. So if you do come on out, say hello, come up to me, let me know, hey, I watch you on the rundown. If you want to know when, where, all of the particulars, follow the link to the California Republican Assembly in the description to this video, and you'll be able to find out where it's at. Or you can just go to cagop.org. It's all right there.
There you go.
All right. Very nice. With that, I think I do believe that our time is up today, Mikey.
I might be time to bid you a fair adieu.
Yes. So we will see you tomorrow on Freedback Friday. We will have a good time. Looking forward to the good convo tomorrow. Until then, please stay safe and exercise your fundamental constitutional rights responsibly.
Make sure you pass this around.